The Huge Show is back live across Michigan on a Moneyline Monday, presented by our friends on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Remember to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and if you're a new user and you use promo code HUGE when you sign up and make a $1 bet the first week of the NFL season, you'll get $200 in free bets instantly. On the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that promo code HUGE when you sign up. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Speaking of the NFL commentator Solomon Wilcots is standing by in the Meyer guest line here on the Huge Show across Michigan. We'll talk a little bit about the NFL, and then we'll get into this mission that Solomon is on, trying to help people when it comes to the pandemic. And Solomon, welcome back to the show.
Well, Bill, hey, thanks for having me on. Always great to be on with you.
All right, before we get into your mission connected to the pandemic, your early thoughts on storylines going into the 2021 NFL season.
Well, it all starts, I think, and it has to, right, with Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the fact that they're bringing back all 22 starters from last year's Super Bowl team. And remember, while trying to get going during a global pandemic, the Bucs got off to a slow start. Tom Brady wasn't able to really work with his receivers. They didn't have a preseason, barely had a training camp, so they got off to the slow start. But as you could tell, they got hot late in the regular season. Well, this year, they get a full off season. It's almost unfair. They're so good, but this time they get to hit the ground running. I think it is the top story. And I think Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City continues to be a top story because I don't know who's going to be the team to knock them off in the AFC, but I'm telling you right now, Big Ben Roethlisberger will have something to say about it, and watch out for those Cleveland Browns because I think they're even better this year than they were 1 year ago.
What about the Lions? Now with Goff and Stafford traded to Los Angeles, a lot of people feel that Stafford is going to join the Rodgers-Brady category and will take L.A. to a Super Bowl. Something Goff did once but couldn't do it again. Your thoughts on how Stafford will play out in Los Angeles now with the Rams?
Bill, you know, I've always been a huge Matthew Stafford fan. There's a lot of us amongst the NFL community that always thought he was what was right with Detroit. And as you well know, a lot of changing coaches, a lot of changing coordinators, and a lot of system changes for Matthew Stafford during his career, but he still got them to the playoffs 3 times. Yeah, they didn't win there, but people need to understand quarterbacks can't win by themselves. And this guy, I thought, outplayed many of the situations he was placed in. Now you put him with a coach in Sean McVay, who knows how to leverage the talent of a quarterback to yield wins, and they're going to put a run game around him, and they have a great defense. And when you're talking about quarterbacks can't win by themselves, the Rams know that, and I think they're going to put a lot around him to have a lot of success. Now, he's in a tough division, but I think Matthew Stafford is up to the challenge. Now, let's see what they do when they get into the postseason, because I think he can get them there. But, man, going deep in the postseason in the NFC, it's tough because it's a very deep conference.
Solomon Wilcots, NFL analyst, joining us on the Meyer guest line here on the Huge Show across Michigan. And Solomon, let's move on to this mission you're on. I know tensions are running high in the NFL over the COVID-19 vaccine mandate, and also with people from college, high school, to youth sports, to our daily lives. Let's talk about this partnership that you're involved in.
Yeah, I'm partnered with AditxtScore. It's an immune health company. Really, it's very important because we're working on a campaign which says know your score, know your immunity score. And we know tensions are running high in the National Football League over COVID-19 and vaccinations and all the mandates. But due to vaccine hesitancy, just under half of the U.S. adult population is currently unvaccinated. And so we want to help people to understand it's more than just these binary choices. Are you vaccinated or unvaccinated? Do you wear a mask or not? More importantly, you've got to know your immune score. And AditxtScore, they can score your immunity. And I think we have our partner, Liz Knisely, the CEO of Great Lakes Medical Laboratory in the Detroit area, where people can go and get their AditxtScore. And Liz can help us to understand more about it. And Liz, help everybody understand where they can go to get their AditxtScore.
So thank you so much, Solomon. You know, I am a registered nurse and a physician, and you know, when I've had my family tested and people get their test scores and they get a vaccination, here's a thing that's really most important that I think all the NFL needs to understand is that, you know, you can get a vaccination, you can get a COVID test, you can get your antibodies tested, but until you get the comprehensive immune monitoring score that tells you how robust your immune system is, that's where we need to go. So I'm a 60-year-old woman, no underlying conditions. I had a Johnson & Johnson vaccination. I have zero immunity, nothing. So when I think of people that are going out there, that are going to, you know, see their grandkids, that are going out there into sports, that are going out there into, you know, whatever you're going to play, you know, you need to know how robust your immune system is. So that's why I'm saying this really important because Solomon and I both had, you know, really low immunity. So this score, I'm promoting the score, of course, but the bottom line is everybody needs to know exactly where they're at and the uncertainty of this world. Should I get a vaccination? Should I not? Should I get a booster? Should I not? You know, I thought people that, you know, I was with that had a shot that were completely, you know, immune to COVID. Not true. It's not true. I mean, so I think, especially with the NFL or sports, you need to absolutely pay for it or see what it is and make sure that you know what your immune system is against the virus.
So, Liz, for the people listening on our 19 stations across Michigan, in terms of the Aditext immune health score in regards to COVID-19, what's the easiest destination or route for anybody listening to go find out what their COVID-19 immune score is?
Great Lakes Medical Lab has partners with AditxtScore.com. Know your score, AditxtScore.com, and we have 6 sites that you could go pay cash, you have a doctor's order, get it tested in the 6 sites that are around the state of Michigan, and it's really, really important. Like I said, you know, here's what I always say. You know, I've got, you know, my brothers and sisters that have grandkids. And they think, oh, I got the test, but I'm completely immune. You're not.
All right, Liz. Thank you so much. And again, Aditext Immune Health partnering with Great Lakes Medical Laboratory to offer.
We're the only lab in the state of Michigan.
Right,
and
to do it.
I would be more than happy to meet with you to do some more details about this. But, yep, we're the state in the state of Michigan that is doing the only test with AditxtScore. And
okay,
Solomon, you would agree with me.
Right, and Solomon, people can go. Well, what's the website they have to go to?
It's AditxScore.com.
Okay.
T as in Tom, X-T score, SCORE.com. www.AditxScore.com. And you can find a lab in your area to help you get the score.
So put your
very
zip code in
important
there.
to know your immune health.
Put your zip code in there, and you can look us up, and you know we will do the test score. But the really interesting Yeah, I'm sorry. The really interesting thing is you think you're immune because you got the vaccinations. You might not be.
All right, so Google Great Lakes Medical Laboratory. And one more time, Solomon, before I let you guys go, with that AditxtScore website.
AditxtScore.com, AditxtScore.com.
And Aditex in the Great
or
Lakes.
Call my cell. You can call my cell,
Okay.
and I will. Yep, my cell number is 734-502-4104, and we will. I'm telling you, it's a really great test to have.
All right, Liz, thank you so much. Thank you, Solomon. You two have a great night, and thanks for spreading the word on Aditex Immune Health. All right, thank you, Liz.
Okay, Bill.
Thank you,
sir.
Solomon. Yeah, we'll talk to both of you later. Solomon Wilcots, one of our NFL insiders, joining us on the Meyer guest line. And again, Aditex is partnering with the Great Lakes Medical Laboratory to offer the AditxScore for immune health, which is interesting. Okay. So when we're looking at, I look at sports or the NFL and the COVID-19 mandate, and you got Solomon Wilcots, who has had a score taken, is, man, if you could get a test that said what your immunity was and you've had the shot, I think that comes into play when we're doing this debate on masks in schools. I mean, where I'm kind of lost in COVID-19 connected to sports and our daily lives, and me as a father, that it's all about vaccinations and masks. It's not about tests like this, which could tell what your immunity is to COVID-19 or other treatments that would help. It's just really like a bottom line in the sand between vax or no vax, mask or no mask. And I've had my children and myself vaccinated, but you know where I stand on this show. I've told everybody that I will respect the individual choices of the people of Michigan and America on whether they want to get vaccinated or they want their children vaccinated. And that should happen inside our school systems. That the children wearing masks or getting vaccinated should lie in the hands of the parents, not the schools, not a county health director, not anybody who's a politician or working in Lansing. And if there is this in the state of Michigan with this Great Lakes Medical Laboratory, if there is a test that could tell you what your COVID-19 immunity status is, why wouldn't everybody be doing this? Why? Now, because we know the politics of this pandemic. And why isn't there, with all the medical advancements, it's just vaccines. There's nothing else to treat our children, to treat us, to help ward it off. But, man, I think, from what I've read with Aditex and Great Lakes Medical Laboratory out of Detroit, and they have 6 of those Michigan labs, that if you have an immunity score, it's easy in my mind through doctors I've talked to, personal doctors who I trust in my life, that we need to focus on the most vulnerable. And that could be all ages, depending on where you're at. But you can look at all the numbers on the State of Michigan website. You can see the CDC website. You can see that our children newborn to 19 years of age are at very low risk of dying, to the point that newborn to 9 years old doesn't even show up on the State of Michigan fatality numbers connected to COVID, that only 12, and I say only, and one's too many, but 12 kids since March of 2020 have died because of COVID in the state of Michigan, ages 10 to 19. Yet schools are still in this battle, and that line, bottom line in the sand between vax and no vax and mask and no mask. And at the end of the day, man, there has to be something out there, and whether it's this Addicts Immune Health that can pinpoint the most vulnerable. You can look at the age groups of people who have died, and 60 and up need to be protected. 60 and up need to wear masks when around others. I mean, it's easy to look at that, but the politics of this pandemic are the most horrific thing, one of the most horrific things in American history. So Google Great Lakes Medical Laboratory, Solomon Wilcots, NFL analyst. He supports it. and through sports and day-to-day living, let's live our lives as normal as we can while helping each other and protecting the most vulnerable.